even today, we are affected by religion in court. Some examples, Salem witch trial, but even more recently, the banning of abortion in America at the state level or at the federal level, like the protections that were provided to women taken away under the impression that fetuses might have souls, or at least motivated by people who have that idea who vote in a block. The idea that creationism is still taught at the university level, and in our state, in the state of Tennessee, you can go to any local university bookshop, textbook shop, pull open a book on biology, and you will see capital C creator more often than not in biology textbooks. And it hurt me to see stuff like that, because when you have, for example, an education where you understand how unintelligent and how undesigned things are, and then you understand design as an engineer, and then you go to a book that still tries to hop or like sell this terrible narrative, you realize this whole book can't be trusted. It has some good things in it, but it's not because it came from this author. It's because they're pulling the good things from other authors and selling their agenda on top of it. And the fact that that's still being sold to kids who are still trying to learn in a place where they should be able to trust their educators hurts me as a person that loves science and education.
Right. Yeah, it hurts me as a pastafarian.
Yeah. I think it hurts everybody, honestly. It even hurts the Christians, because like now you're just more inhibiting against. You're just muddying the waters for everybody. You know, like everyone benefits from science, and not everybody benefits from Christianity.
That's right.
And science should not be determined in a court of law. That's not how science works.
Good point. Science should not be determined.
Science should inform the courts, not dictate what the courts should do.
Right? Well, not.
Can you elaborate on that? Could you elaborate on?
Sure. Yeah. Science should not be dictated to by courts,
right?
Because there's a big difference between how these two organizations work. Because I often get involved in conversations like this, because a court of law is somewhere that you make arguments. You make them a case, a mental case, a constructed thought process, an association of ideas, which leads people to think that some cause made this effect. Now, science doesn't work like that.
Right.
Because that effect happened historically in legal terms. And they're trying to unravel what might have caused it. Besides, science is looking forward. If science wants to associate a cause with an effect, we do an investigation. And if that doesn't give us the answer, we do it again tomorrow.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
So whereas the legal system is looking backwards, the scientific is looking forwards. And so we do not have to make an argument, a mental association of ideas to determine the truth or otherwise of our propositions. What we have to find is evidence. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know the difference. They don't know. They don't know the difference. Yeah, they don't know the difference between an argument and evidence. Evidence is physical or phenomenal, observable, independent and multiply repeatable observations. And arguments are not necessarily that. Arguments are just mental associations. They are like solving a crossword from ideas. They're not actually relating to the natural realm in the way that science does. So if you were making a case, if you were a prosecutor or a defender in a court of law, you would associate ideas one after another to try and demonstrate the truth of your proposition.
Yeah.
You may, if you're lucky, find some evidence, like a smoking gun, you know, to add to that case, but it's not necessary. I mean, for example, just after 2020, Trump made a lot of legal cases that he'd won the election. There was no evidence for that, so he didn't succeed. But this is the difference between argument, which is a mental activity and association of ideas, and evidence, which is actual observable stuff.